All right, now we're about to set off this card right here.
All right, we have Shimkus versus Kawamura. They don't waste any time getting to it.
Kawamura with a takedown. Settles right into guard.
You know, I did see Tom fight in Lincoln before, the Pershing Center. He looks good, and he comes out wild. Usually comes out wild and gives it all he's got for the first, minute or two, and sometimes his cardio has been suspect. So I guess we'll see if he's worked on that since his last fights. Now, Anthony, for those that are at home watching, maybe not real familiar with MMA, what does Shimkus need to be doing here?
He needs to get back to his feet. He's giving up his back right now. He needs to get up and turn and face him. Right here, if he needs to turn and face right here and not take the damage that he's going to take up against the cage with Kawamura on his back.
And you could see Shimkus look at his corner there. And, sometimes you wonder with some of these fighters if, it was just more, he thought he could take Kawamura pretty easy, and then he comes out and, he's all over him. Maybe he's heavier than he thought he would be. Maybe, he's stronger than he thought he would be. He just kind of looks like whatever game plan he came in with.
He's looking for direction.
Exactly.
And he's taking big knees right now.
He was trying to keep the one post down to avoid being kneed, but once he brought that hand up, Tom was smart enough to start bringing in the knees.
Shimkus' corner's turning, calling for him to turn his back off the cage, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I've seen Tom fight before, and I wonder about his cardio. And you start wondering if this goes much longer, will Tom have it in the tank to finish Shimkus? Because maybe Shimkus can weather the storm. Obviously he could take a beating pretty good. I was pretty much all Tom there in the beginning, but will the tide turn?
Well, now it's Tom's back on the cage now. Shimkus looking for the throw. Kawamura is really working that body, though. Throwing lots of knees and lots of punches to the body.
And some people sitting at home watching thinking, who's the guy spending the most energy here? I mean, what would you say? I mean, obviously the guy trying to do the takedown or pushing him up against the cage is spending a lot of energy, but is the guy fighting it just as much? Is it equal? What's your take on that?
I think it's pretty equal. I think it depends on how technical you are and how you're using your body weight and stuff. But I think right now Shimkus is probably working a little harder. He's taking more shots. He's taking lots of knees to the body. Kawamura is working really, really hard too. So
you keep seeing
10-second bell.
Dan look over at his corner. He just doesn't seem to really have much of an answer. He obviously had enough of those knees and went for a single leg, but
it seems like he was looking for direction, and I think here in the break he's going to get that direction, and we'll see what we come out with in the second round. Who do you think won that round, Kelly?
Honestly, having judging experience, I would have probably given it to Tom. Based on the takedown, and I hate to say that because I'm totally against takedowns being scored as high as they are. I mean, if a takedown is scored that high, then a takedown defense should be equally, and it's not. But honestly, I'd probably give the nod to Tom based off of that takedown. And Dan didn't really do anything when he stood back up and he had Tom against the cage. He really wasn't doing anything. He wasn't trying. He was just kind of looking at his corner, like you said, trying to get direction, but just he really didn't know what to do there. So I would give it to Tom. What about you?
I'd give it 10-9, Tom Kawamura. With the takedown, I think he did more damage. He was more aggressive. He controlled the cage. I think that's a 10-9 all day.
Well, round number 2. We'll see if they come out with the same intensity. Tom looks like he wants to come straight for him. Dan looks like he might be a little tired, but I guess we'll find out. And they come out exactly the same as they did the first. Yeah, swing it for the fences.
Just what the crowd wants. Kawamura goes back to the body.
And I think, Tom, if Tom's going to win this fight, I mean, he needs to just throw. He needs to just push off right there, in my opinion. Push off right there, create space, and just start dropping bombs. Because Dan doesn't really have an answer for it. But then again, he didn't really have an answer for it on the ground either.
Shimkus absolutely needs to come up with an answer right here. He's taking a lot of damage. He's taking a lot of body shots. The ref is looking extremely close to this fight right now.
At this point, yeah, Dan looks like he's just waiting for it to be stopped. I mean, I mean, he's got heart. He's hanging in there. I mean, I've seen guys tap from strikes. I don't have a lot of respect for that, so I'll give Dan this. At least he's not, giving up. He's sticking in there and fighting.
He's still trying. He's still working.
I don't know if he's just, like I said, maybe they've watched some of Tom's fights and knew he gassed early on there, thinking maybe that would be weather the storm and then turn the tide. But
Kawamura is just teeing off here.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, he needs to start dropping heavier hands, and I think
if he landed 3 or 4 big shots, I think the ref would step in. Regardless of the damage you're taking, I think that everyone needs to realize you got to have an intelligent defense in the sport, and turtling and covering up is not an intelligent defense.
Absolutely, it's your responsibility to defend, and if you can't intelligently defend, then the ref should stop it. We're not trying to harken back to the blood sport days.
Another big knees to the body, big knees to the body.
Yeah, I mean, so far I would give it 10-8 for Tom in this round. It's been total domination.
I think Shimkus is just surviving right now. He needs to get back to his feet. He needs to turn and face him, and he needs to get going.
Yeah, those are big bombs now. He's starting to work the body.
Big body shots.
And when you already have the labored breathing because you're tired and somebody starts dropping body shots on you, it's not fun. I mean, I am impressed with Tom, though. I mean, he's been nonstop action and he's not gassed. So, he has found the riddle to his cardio. It seems to be.
Well, and props to Tom for staying on the body. A lot of guys, I'm a huge advocate of body shots and them wearing fighters down, and something I use in my game a lot, and he's sticking to it. Some guys will hit 2 or 3, and you'll never see him hit it again, but he's consistently went to the body this entire fight.
Right, some guys want a headhunt, don't they? They want
Absolutely.
That big knockout or that big headshot when, 3 or 4 good shots to the body could really put an end to somebody.
Shimkus back to his feet at the end of the bell. We're going to see the 3rd round.
Like I said, this kid's got a lot of heart. I mean, in some shows, it may be some different refs. They may have stopped that a couple times, but Tom just wasn't
the intelligent defense factor.
Tom wasn't at those times landing big bombs, but like you said, he wasn't intelligent to defend himself. But I guess we'll see what happens in the 3rd round. If you're in Dan's corner, what would you tell him? Coming out in the 3rd round, you're obviously down 10-9 and 10-8.
He's got to keep his back off the cage. That's where he's losing the fight. I think he needs to stay on the outside and not get in that firefight with Tom. And that's where he wins this fight. I say circle,
right?
Keep your distance and let your hands go, but don't get in a firefight. Don't get your back on the cage.
And what would you tell Tom?
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Punch your way into a clinch and get the takedown and beat him up there. That's where he's winning the fight. I always tell people, win the fight where you're winning the fight, and I think that's what he needs to continue to do.
Yeah, because at this point, Dan's only way to win, he's going to have to either knock Tom out or submit him. Because even in 10-8 round, he's not winning.
I believe he needs to finish. Tom's coming forward again.
Dan threw a haymaker.
And back to the body. And this is absolutely where Shimkus does not want to be.
I guess we should let you guys know that obviously you can tell, but Kawamura is in the green shorts and Dan in the black shorts. But obviously from listening to the commentating, you pretty much know who's who. But sometimes it helps for those that may have tuned in a little late.
Big knee to the head.
Big knees. Big knees. Nice shot to the body. I don't know how Dan isn't done. I mean, this kid's got a lot of heart.
Tom turns it back again. Back to the body.
That's what I thought Tom needed to do was create space, but you gotta want an angle. You can't just create space and step straight backwards
Absolutely. Either. I'm really extremely impressed at Tom Kawamura's body shots and knees. He's beating the legs, he's beating the body, and he's coming back to the head. He's going all 3 levels, which is what you don't see a lot at the amateur level.
Yeah, right. He has not been fighting like an amateur.
No,
like you said, you don't see that. Working all of his tools. But you get him in the cage like that rather than just head hunting or body shots. He's going to the thighs with knees. He's doing a great job. I mean, he's dominated this fight without a doubt. He still has a chance to get a finish.
I think someone's cut. It looks like
somebody's
Shimkus
cut. Yeah, there's
cut.
A lot of blood. There's a lot of blood, obviously from one of those big knees. can't see. I'm sure it's like over the eye. I thought I seen a flash of a cut over the eye. Tom was landing some big knees in that clinch, so I'm sure that's what opened him up. And
back to the knees.
Yeah, at this point, there's his tapping.
There's the
He's
tapping
tapping.
strikes.
And I can't say that I'm a fan of tapping from strikes. I mean, people will argue with me, but I'm old school Militich, and that's what Jeremy Horn used to tell us. If you tap from strikes,
that's a bad
don't
cut.
come back to the gym. But, that's different.
That's a bad cut.
That's a bad cut.
It's a bad cut.
It's what they call a gaping wound.
Props to Kawamura. He looks a lot better than the last time I seen him fight. His cardio's on point. He looks technical. He stuck to the game plan. He hit all 3 levels. But props to Dan Shimkus for sticking in there and taking some of the body shots and some of the knees that he took.
Yeah, lesser guys, lesser amateurs would have probably been done in the first round. And that's that's a deep cut.
That's a bad
that's shades of Vitor Belfort, and who was the guy who hit him with the flying knee and opened the Marvin Eastman?
Marvin Eastman,
yeah. Big old cut. I mean, you probably could have stuck your thumb inside that cut. This one's about the same. Get a cameraman to get a good shot of that gash. There you go.
What a way to kick off this show, though, right here in the Pinnacle Bank Arena in Dynasty Combat Sports.
It's a good fight. Tom Kawamura wins that light heavyweight bout and looks good for an amateur. I was impressed. Worked all of his tools, and his cardio was good.